What's up, Financial Zen Masters? Today I'm going to do a quick journey episode. I know that I gather a lot of inspiration from listening to other people's journeys, so I thought I'd use Friday as sort of a weekend review, kind of where we're at, state of Financial Zen sort of episode. But first, welcome to the Financial Zen channel. The big question is, how can you, a super successful, hardworking professional with kids at home and a mortgage to pay, how can you quit your 9-to-5 grind to go pursue your passion while still providing for your family? I'm Rick Valenzi. I am a certified financial planner, the founder of Financial Zen, and your guide. So, some of you, once you achieve Financial Zen and you are able to quit your 9-to-5, some of you will go on to start businesses. Maybe you'll start businesses prior to that point. And for those of you that might be where your passion lays, hopefully I can inspire you with my own journey. And I think I'm a big believer in sharing mutual journeys, because there's a lot of similarities. And if you know that you're not the only person going through that or this, it can give you inspiration to keep going. So that's why I'm sharing this. This week was a tough week. I think this week was the first week maybe all year where all this new excitement, this new direction we're heading, these new endeavors we're chasing, these new mountains we're climbing, kind of came to the grind, where like the initial shine in, like everything you start, they say everything you start has sort of three phases. It's like the shiny new phase, which is just awesome and you're so excited about it because it's new and it looks awesome and you're like, oh, this thing's gonna be so great. And then there's the end phase where you're closer to the end and you're like, dude, we almost did it, like we're almost there. And then you got the grinding middle where it's like you're way past the shiny phase where the shine has worn off. You're too far away from the end phase where you peak the mountain and you can't see the mountain top and you're just grinding, and it's just like day in, day out, you're doing this thing with faith that you're gonna get to the top of the mountain, but you're like, man, I don't know where it is. But I'm gonna keep doing it. And I think that I kind of reached that part in this journey maybe this week because I'm not gonna lie, I know everybody thinks I'm like this happy, smiley person 24/7, but I'm not. Trust me, just ask Nicole. I got my moments too. And I had a lot of those moments this week. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a rough week. What happened this week? We just little things, right? So like we had a bunch of discovery calls this week that didn't turn out to be mutually beneficial. The people that we spoke with weren't quite a good fit. One actually was, and still didn't work with us, which just kills me because we win most of those. And so the ones that we lose for no good reason other than they picked this other person, like, oh man, it just kills me. But anyways, we had one of those this week. We had a few others that just weren't good fits, like they wanted something that we don't do, etc. But you always go into those discovery calls with, anticipation and excitement that this is going to be the next new Financial Zen member that we're going to be able to help in so many ways. And they're going to come out, they'll end up being true fans, and they're going to, and so when it doesn't work out, it's kind of like, oh, man, it's kind of a bummer. So it's like all these micro sort of like, just like, what else happened this week? And then the YouTube thing, this thing has come to sort of like, it's now a grind. Like I enjoy it and I believe in what we're putting out in the world. And I think this is, these early stages, it's going to be fun to look back and be like, oh, look how far we've come, far into the future. And I committed to do one of these videos. I initially committed to doing 2 videos a day, and then I got into it and I was like, there's no way that's sustainable. But 1 video per day is, and I'm committed to that for a year, so I'm not going to stop, but it did become a grind this week. And part of the reason why is, I love all our subscribers. I love all our true fans. Most of you, I'm sure, are already Financial Zen members, in which case we love you doubly so. But entrepreneurship can be kind of lonely because most of your friends won't get it. And that I kind of hit that wall this week too, where it's like, so outside of the newsletter I send out every day, I also ask my friends, I'm just like, guys, do me this big favor. Like, I don't think I really ask for anything, most times, but like, just when you get that email, like, just punch, hit the link and punch the thumbs up. Like the YouTube algorithm loves thumbs up, right? And that'll help me get this ball rolling, right? Get some momentum going where, you don't need to do me this favor, but just in the beginning, please, like, click on the link, thumbs up. It'll take 2 seconds. And like, nobody's doing it. And it's so frustrating because it's like, guys, like, I'm your friend, just help me out. Just click the link, thumbs up. Like, it's so simple. Like, think of all the rock shows we've gone to, and think of all the weddings and the baby shower and all these things like we all do for each other because we're all friends. Like, just do me this one thing. And it's like, and it dawned on me that it's not their fault. Like they don't get it. They're not creating content. They're not running their own business. So it doesn't it doesn't add up to them. They're living in their own world, which is not my world. But that can be lonely sometimes. That can get you down in the dumps when you're like, man, like nobody gets it. And that's true, I think, for most entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs start it and they don't have sort of an entrepreneurial community, and I still don't. I still don't. I'm slowly growing one, but it's still pretty lonely out there. So I had that frustration this week where it's like, man, I'm just doing this thing, and it's like screaming into the void, and like none of my friends are helping me out, and it's just like So yeah. So anyways, this week just kind of turned into grass, just like one thing after another, and it kept going. Now, all that being said, I was listening to the CNBC Small Business Playbook, which was this sort of summit that they did on Tuesday with a bunch of business leaders. And one of the people that they had on was Robert Herjavec, which is the guy from Shark Tank, one of the guys from Shark Tank. And he actually quoted Barbara Corcoran, so give credit to Barbara Corcoran. But he said, and it was in relation to COVID and everything, but he said, Barbara has this quote, and it's like, the difference between successful entrepreneurs and everybody else is that this isn't that they don't get down and get bummed out and kind of get into these valleys. It's that they don't stay there, right? They get there, they consume it, they absorb it, and then they move on. And so he was talking about in relation to COVID, but I think universal principles are relatable to any situation, any valley, right? When you get in there, okay, you're in there, recognize it, feel it for a minute, and then move on, right? And so that's what I've done this week. It's kind of a bummer of a week, but we're ending on a positive note. Positive notes to end on. This whole journey is totally worth it. Like the vision that I have, the vision where we're headed is so big, is so grand, is so massive, and it's going to change so many people's lives that keeps you going through these valleys, right? That you inevitably will encounter. So I'm so excited about that, and talking to the team about it yesterday, and they're kind of starting to understand the vision as well. That's super exciting. And then there's sort of micro interactions that we have with people. So last week I told you about that one interaction that kept me going for a long time when my very first non-friend or family client back in the day said, thank you so much. It feels so good to finally have somebody help us. So we had one of those this week, which was super great. One of our new members came aboard, and about 6 months ago, I won't mention her by name because I didn't get her okay to do that. But she came to us and she was like, "Look, I don't get this stuff. But I want to get it. Like I feel very behind the ball when I'm talking to people. I feel very behind when I'm reading about this stuff. Like I don't understand this, and I really want to understand this." So they came aboard and they're going through our foundations program. They just completed month 5, so they got 1 month to go. And at the end of the appointment earlier this week, at the very end of the call, I was asked what was the best part about today? I always like to end on a high note. And she goes, honestly, the best part wasn't today, but it was last week. I was talking with one of my friends about how to invest and what to do and the smart places to put your money and all these things that 6 months ago, I would have been clueless. I would have been completely intimidated and just nodded my head and not participated in the conversation. And this time I was like, no, this is why you want to do it this way. This is what it's all about. This is how you got to think about this stuff. And that confidence was the best part of this experience. Just kidding. And that's what you live for when you do stuff like this, is hearing that you actually had this tangible positive effect on people, right? And it's magical to be in a position where you can see where the rubber meets the road, meaning the person that you affected in this way, and it's just magical. So that was a bright spot in a week that was sort of a week in the valley. But hey, we're doing big things. When you do big things, you're gonna have peaks and valleys. That's the name of the game. So it's all good. It's not if you get into the valley. It's just how long you stay there, how long it takes you to pick yourself back up and get back in that ring. So we're back in the ring. It was a good week overall, particularly because of that one new member, and just this vision that we have that we're starting to execute on, and I think you're gonna like it. So come along for the ride. Once you start your own journey, you'll probably go through the peaks and valleys too, and if you do, like I said, just pick yourself back up and get back in the ring. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you had a good week and happy weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow.